Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're gonna be opening two ST13 deck boxes, but not in any style. I don't want to look at any of the cards, basically I only want to look at the leaders, see some of the cards that I think are really good in the current meta. Probably by the time that this video goes live, you've most likely already played with or against either of the three brothers, and I just want to cover some of the things that you can get and are pretty good in the meta on the Western. Probably it's just an assumption, but yeah, I've seen it in the Asian meta, but it's not usually played on Western in the same side. Here you can see Luffy, we got Sabo on the side, and yeah, on the other hand it's Ace. Now you also get a divider with the three brothers. The only thing that I am missing right now is probably a playmat to have a full setup with the three brothers that you can also see here. I think they look pretty nice. Probably Luffy is my favorite. Yeah, on the back it's nothing important, you can just see the three brothers. Let's take a quick look at the deck box right here and see what we have inside of it. Again, we're just going to be looking at the leaders, some of the cards that I think are relevant, and the premium or the altars from behind on the right side top corner. Right off the bat we have Sabo, which is probably the least played leader. It has a pretty good effect. You basically add something on top of your life, you can play around with characters, you can buff some of your other characters. However, the fact that you put something on top of your life, it means that you can at most play two characters, move one into your life and then buff the other one, which it will get killed most likely because you've added face up. The opponent knows your life, it can play around it. So it did win some flagships in the Asian meta, sorry I wanted to say in Japan. However, for Western we haven't seen much of him and we're already in pretty late 07. It's a pretty nice leader to bring to your locals. It has a good combination of colors. It's a red-yellow revolutionary army. We've seen Balobetti pushing this color pretty well. However, I don't think that Sabo can cut it with his current setup and with the cards that we have available. It can definitely sneak in some wins and I can see it as a rogue deck, but the fact that you add one character to the top of your life, that makes him a little bit bad compared to the other two brothers that we're gonna be talking in just a little moment. Now, let's take a quick look at Ace, because I think this is probably the funniest one that you can take to your locals if you don't plan on spending a, let's say, huge amount of a big chunk of money. Because for Luffy you do need to spend some money because of, yeah, all the black cards are expensive. However, Ace, it's a 2-turn commitment every turn and it's a weird combination. It's a blue-yellow. However, you do have pretty good cards to set things up in 07 when you also get the blocker Ace and you can put cards on top or bottom if you don't have something good to play with him, and you basically set up your turns for him. You also have the option, I think there's been a setup around in Asia, I think it was in Philippines, where you basically played the small brothers and the big ones. It was basically playing Ace around just as Luffy, but you played only two of the brothers, yep, Ace and Luffy, because you have Egghead Luffy, you got the big Sabo, and sorry, the big Ace, and the 2-turn commitment ensures that every single time with Perona or with big Ace, you get to play your effect and it won't miss. So you almost all the time stay as a 7k leader, and you have access to Gravity Blade, which if your meta has your local meta has a lot of red purple law, probably Ace is one of the funnest to play because you also block her up a bit and it's pretty rough to go through. You also have Bow and all other stuff. Now let's get to Luffy, because this is probably the funniest to play but also the hardest to master. Now, what do you all think about Luffy? Please let me know in the comments down below. Now, if I were to answer, is that my first, I think, 2 or 3 matches with this guy were atrocious. So basically, I snap a deck into the simulator. If you don't know what that is, we'll figure that one later. Don't worry, I'll help you with that as well, but you probably already know if you're here. And I basically was, okay, I need that Sabo, the one that I just showed you on the behind. I'm gonna play that, I'm gonna pop life, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna... It was a mess. It was utter chaos and I lost them gracefully. No, it was atrocious. Again, bad gameplay. However, after playing him for a little while, you get to see why this leader is so good. It gets to stay as a 9k most of the time, but you need to be very careful against like 7 Warlords of the Sea, because they got their own Diable Jambe. You also need to be careful against Red Decks, because they also have their own, well, Diable Jambe. Now, Emporio Ivanko is one of the cards that is currently played, or is gonna be one of the most played in the Western meta, and yeah, this is the card that has been sealing the deal for some of the flagships, in Japan. Basically, you can put a 5 cost in your life, and then you also get a blocker, so you can play him and Sabo and get double blockers. You also have the big brothers, but you don't usually play all of them. Probably Ivankov is the one that you want to use with either Ace or Sabo, the black Sabo. But now the card that I think will be very interesting, and it seems like we also have a full set of it, is Edward Newgate. If I can get it in focus, just a second real quick. Yeah, you can add 1 card from the top of your deck to your life, look at all of them, and then you place 1 at the top of your deck, which is a really huge deal. You get 5 life, you get to sort it, and you get to see which characters you might have in your life, and you get a 6-7k stat line. That is very good. It's also 1k counter, which is, well, most of the time overlooked. So if you don't need him, you just counter with that 1k. But the fact that he's a 7k will most of the time be something difficult to remove by law, because you need 2 Gordons, and that's probably the card that I'm gonna be trying around and playing in. You have all this kind of like online locals and such, and yeah, I'm just gonna try this stuff because I think it's nice, and also on the sim on the ranked ladder. Curly Dadan, which I've tried a little bit, is very bad, because you need to play the 2 cost brothers from your hand, and you kind of need a huge hand to have all the pieces together, and it's not worth it overall. At least in my testing, it's a pretty nice card when you can hit with it, but more often than not, it's gonna be a miss. And that gets me to the next card, which is basically Shanks. It's a no counter, again a 7k body. However, you turn all your face up life cards down, and if your opponent has way too many cards in their hand, you get to trash 1 card from the life. This is probably the one that sounded the best, but it seems like, and that was my chair, it seems like that was pretty bad. I really like Shanks, but let's move on. This is everything that you get in your ST13 if you buy the set, and probably the most important part is right here. You want all the small brothers, you want the 3 leaders, well, you want the 3 brothers in be it small format, 5 cost format, or the leaders. You also get 10 or 8 in a black Sabo, and yeah, I really think this is a fun thing to have. Like, either of the brothers are fun, probably Luffy the most, Ace, and then Sabo. Sabo can sneak in some wins, but I'd highly recommend to master Luffy if you want a cheap and long-term deck, because you can also play it in 08, and it seems like it's still good. And now for the main event of the video, to say so, let's see what we have inside those 2 alternate art booster packs. And probably the one that I want the most is gonna be all the small brothers. Okay, it's no red, so basically we have no leaders, which is a bit unfortunate. However, let's see, in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, okay, Ace was my favorite up until the Marineford series, so he is still in my top 3, so to say, of the 3 brothers. Yeah, kind of obviously. And then, oh, pretty nice, we also have Sabo, which looks amazing, and again, probably the best of the 3 brothers in those decks, depending on the set that you play. And Makino, which is always good to have another 2k counter as an alternate artwork. Like, who doesn't want alternate arcs? No, it's not a spec, it's just the artwork of the card. However, those look amazing in black and white. I initially thought they look like awfully bad, but seeing them in person really look awesome. Like, take a look at this. Sabo looks so nice, and so does Ace behind with all the flame. Let's get it back inside for a second. I don't think you can see it, but it's also textured, like his hand with flames is textured and such. It looks way better than normal alternate artworks, so it has that kind of a 3D feel to it. So I don't know how to say it, but on video it doesn't look that good, but in reality they do look pretty nice. What more can I say? For the first booster pack, this is impressive, not gonna lie. I'm pretty happy with especially the fact that we got 2 of the 3 brothers. If we can also get a Luffy, okay, I thought for a second he's gonna be Luffy, but yeah, he's oriented towards left. We got Ace, which goes pretty well with his big brother, so we have both baby and big Ace. Of course there's the bigger Ace, the 10 cost, and then we have, whoa, that's awesome. Well, leaders in the alternate artwork form look amazing. Well, Sabo looks really nice, but it's probably the least playable out of the 3. However, I can't complain because we got an alternate art leader, which is always nice, because if you play a deck, the leader is always visible, but alternate art characters like Ivankov right here won't be that visible, sorry. Don't know what to say, but we got 2 of the 3 brothers. We also got Ace, and we got a big Sabo. The only piece that we're missing is Luffy, which is also funny because he's the main character, and I'm probably gonna be playing the Luffy deck if I manage to learn it properly. Well, that's gonna be all for today, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe. My name is Ray.